It's one of the big rumours of 2013. Will Apple release an iWatch? And now, not wanting to be left behind, Samsung has announced that it is working on its very own wristband device. What would we like to see? We've drafted in T3 experts for their tips on what they like to see in the new Samsung Watch.
Samsung moves into making a smartwatch, as lots of rumours say they will. It seems there'd be a trade-off in terms of design, whether they go for a more jewellery type, very sleek, nice looking watch that you could only fit so much in because miniaturisation has only gone so far, or if they went to the other route of a much chunkier, feature-laden watch that would do most things the S4 did. It would be interesting to see which of those two paths they go down.
Samsung have really found themselves a niche area to focus on, which is the passive technologies available on portable devices. So with the Galaxy S4 you have the ability to scroll down using just your eyes, or the ability to pause a video just by looking away. And I think what we'd really like to see is, rather than seeing conventional technologies, we'd really like to see Samsung focusing more on these with the new smartwatch. So for example, the ability to mute a phone call simply by holding your hand over the watch, or having the watch know when you're looking at it and then being able to show you relevant messages, calendar, dates, contact information, status updates from Facebook or Twitter. So I think for it to succeed over Apple's iWatch, they'll really need to focus on a unique selling point, and this is a great opportunity for Samsung to really take the lead by offering something that Apple has never offered before.
We'd love to see Samsung make the smartwatch into a really genuine fitness gadget to compete with the likes of Nike and Fitbit. It's one thing wearing a device that's going to track your movement and tell you how many calories you're burning when you're running. It's another thing to have something that maybe had GPS in it that could actually map out your runs, rather than having to lug around a huge smartphone. If it can do that and bring everything else that it's planning to bring to the table, it could be a really big deal.
I think what Samsung's got to get right with their smartwatch is the fact that they need to kind of nail the battery life. It's the biggest problem with smartwatches, is the fact you don't want to be charging your watch in every 2 seconds. The Pebble has a bespoke charger. It needs to be micro USB. I think you need to be able to charge it with other things, or even maybe have a wireless mat like the Nokia Lumia does. That'd be good if you get home every night and you put it down on your sideboard and it charges through that. But it's a real thing they've got to overcome, and Apple will have to do it with the iWatch as well. It's a case of how do you get past not having to charge your watch up all the time, because the whole point is you've got it on your wrist. It's not like a phone where you can just put it down, or a tablet or whatever. This is the point. This is meant to connect everything. So, I mean, that for me is the major thing they've got ahead. I think the Samsung smartwatch has to have S-Voice in it. Voice control, I think, is going to be a really important part of smartwatches going forward, and not just for kind of the Michael Knight, talking to your watch type thing. I think it needs to be an essential connective tissue of all your gadgets, not just a fad. Samsung smart TVs, we've got Samsung smart fridges, their tablets, their phones, even cameras all connect up now on Wi-Fi, and it would be great if you could control all of that just with your voice. And we know that Apple iWatch, if they do one, is going to have Siri in it. So if they don't do that, it'll be left behind, and I think that will be something that could make it very compelling to a consumer. I think one of the most important things of the Samsung smartwatch is it needs to know what version of Android it's on. The fragmentation problem that Android has is the fact that most apps that are going to sell to anyone and to a large scale of people have to run Gingerbread, which is 2.3, because just not enough handsets after that have that version on. So if it's going to run on Android, then a Samsung smartwatch needs to work with that, but still have the quality and the new features that the new versions of Android have. It's a very hard thing for them to do, because obviously we know, again, if Apple releases a smartwatch, you can guarantee that it's going to be on iOS 7 with the new iOS, and everyone's going to upgrade on their phones. And that's the problem that Android faces regularly with their fragmentation. So it would be another device, and Samsung needs to choose very wisely about what it goes with.